Economic growth occurs when there's a shift of the PPC. This can happen when the AD is increased, which as a result the supply will increase. This will lead to an increase in output.
From this graph, we can see that AD shifts from AD1 to AD2. In return, increases the overall aggregate supply from LRS1 to LRS2, which increases the economy's overall output from YF1 to YF2.
Here you can see the graph when there's an increase in potential output. As we see here, the arrows go from PPC1 to PPC2, which means there's been an increase in potential output. This happens through economic growth, which can happen through AD increase, which causes an increase in real GDP. Consequences of economic growth. There are 5 positive consequences we define as a positive consequence of economic growth. The first one is increase in national income, which is equated to a higher living standard. The second one is an increase in tax revenue, which allows governments to increase money spent on Americas for the good of the community. The third one is increase in freedom and democracy, which is debatable, but can happen. The fourth one is an advancement in technology, which economic growth can contribute to. A decrease in unemployment, which actually has happened in real life. In Turkey, after the 2008 and 2009 recession, economic growth picked up where it left off before the recession. This also synced with a decrease in unemployment, which shows that economic growth does decrease unemployment.
Okay, there are also negative consequences for economic growth. These can be increases. This can be an example as increase in income doesn't always lead to higher living standards, because getting higher income can really lead to like high stress. And there's also negative externalities to the environment, because when you increase your output, you're using more factory products and you're releasing more carbon emissions, which can have negative effects to the environment. There's also threats to sustainability and resource depletion, because when you're increasing output, you're continuously using resources, which can hinder the future generations' availability for the resources. And lastly, structural unemployment can occur. A world example for this would be in US. There's been continuous economic growth, there's been structural unemployment because workers are not getting enough jobs, because all the jobs have been taken away by this increase in technology. So they're using machines and more advanced robots and stuff to produce goods. So they don't need labor.
There's both positives and negatives to economic growth. The positives are that it improves the country economy, because every country strives for economic growth, which also explains reaching macroeconomic goals, as that's one of the macroeconomic goals of every country. Also, economic growth reduces unemployment that can help developing or even developed countries.
However, there are negative externalities like sustainability threats and resource depletion. Though there are negative consequences for economic growth, economic growth is essential for developing countries. However, for developed countries, the negative consequences can be a lot greater, because they've already reached that state of development. Economic growth is good depending on the country's development state. And yeah, that's our PowerPoint.
Thank you for watching.